Once I get out of the bright lights from the camera, like this look was much better. It looks better when you're kind of in darkness a little bit, not in this like direct light. But I can't show you that with this camera. My apologies to those of you who aren't interested in makeup in the least, but it's Halloween season, and traditionally during Halloween season, I make a conscious effort to play around with makeup a little bit more because it's fun. So, this video will be a Demonia-inspired makeup look, and it's going to be a get ready with me, so I'm going to be talking to you about Demonia, Fulci, and I have a few backup topics just to ramble on about. So this will be my first like costumey makeup experiment this year, but we're like a week out from Halloween, so it's time. Okay, I want to say it's been maybe like a month or two ago now that I watched Demonia. Oh, because it was I think recommended to me by Tubi, and then I saw it was a Fulci movie, and I was like, oh, I need to watch this immediately. It's a 1990 movie, and it's like, I guess, nunsploitation adjacent. I don't know if it would actually qualify as a nunsploitation movie, but it's got nuns in it. And I liked it. I mean, I thought it was fun. I didn't, I was not unhappy with it or anything. I think we can all agree that it's not his best or strongest work by any means. But for those of you who don't know, it's a movie about these people who do an archaeological dig in an area where satanic nuns were crucified like 500 years ago or something. And I want to call it like a straightforward story. Okay, I know this sounds weird, but I picture the plot of Demonia as like this, right? Instead of like some plot movies kind of do this and they like come full circle. I don't know, this movie just seemed like a point A to point B, and then it was just ended, if that makes sense. I loved a lot of the elements in the story. Like, I loved what those nuns were up to. That was cool. And obviously some memorable gore in there, like a guy gets ripped in half, and like long ways. Hot dog. I know this looks rough, but this is kind of the point. And I liked the lady who plays the lead character. I thought she was really lovely. And the nuns were fun, and their makeup was fun, so that's why we're here today. I know most of you watching aren't like makeup experts either, but I know my technique is really suffering right now. I'm just trying to get the white stuff on there, okay? So sorry if I sound like a broken record or something, but Fulci is one of my favorite Italian directors thus far. I mean, I'm sure he's going to keep that title, but he's like an acquired taste, I guess, or he's not for everybody. But when I think of Fulci, I think of like, it doesn't always make sense, but it's very atmospheric. Like, there's a lot of dream logic involved. He's kind of like raw and gritty, really gory. Oh yeah, and sometimes just really silly, but that's how I like it. Oh yeah, and I wanted to mention nunsploitation. I mean, I guess I haven't seen very many nun movies. I don't even know if I've seen an official nunsploitation movie, but I'm interested in like almost all exploitation film subgenres. So I have a lot to see in life. And nunsploitation will definitely crop up somewhere. But Fulci, I guess, I don't know if I'm getting this right exactly, but I would say he has this like perpetual B-movie charm that appeals to a lot of people but would not appeal to a lot of people. But I am one of the proud of Fulci lover. So let's talk about what Fulci movies I have seen. I've seen the Gates of Hell trilogy, is that what it's called? House by the Cemetery, City of the Living Dead, and The Beyond. City of the Living Dead was definitely my favorite. I loved it. The Beyond was really fun too, and then City of the Living Dead, I liked it the least, but you guys have kind of come to its defense. I think it's worth another chance. I've seen Don't Torture a Duckling, which wasn't my favorite, but I watched it very early on in my giallo journey, so that could stand another watch as well. especially with that awesome cast. Oh yes, the New York Ripper, which I've just talked about a million times on here, and I did a whole video on per your request. And I love the New York Ripper. Yeah, it's gross and everything, but I love it because, you know why I love it, because of the quacking. Because I love Andrea Occhipinti. Oh, I've seen Lizard in Woman's Skin. I love that movie. I saw The Psychic, highly recommended by one of you guys. And I thought it was good. It's not on my favorites list, but I thought it was good. I forgot to set my foundation with some powder, but I guess that's fine. It's not like I'm going anywhere. I have seen Enigma, which is, oh gosh, that's probably my favorite Fulci movie. I'm obsessed. And I've said this a couple times and like inspired people to watch it. So I just feel like I have to disclaim that this movie is like really stupid. It's one of those like so bad it's good situations, okay? So it's really stupid, but in the most lovable way. Yeah, that one is fantastic. One of my favorite movies ever now. I guess I'm not giving too much away when I say that Enigma has a really famous death by snails scene. I mean, Fulci does a lot of like animal stuff, animal attacks, death by various unsuspecting animals, so the snail one was really cool. Oh yeah, and I saw Manhattan Baby. That wasn't particularly memorable. I remember thinking like it's not bad or whatever. I think I was doing something while I was watching it. This is how I find the line. There we go. Oh, I dipped into the wrong color, I think. This is a totally different color I've used. Oh, we have to talk about Murder Rock. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. Okay, so the reason why I watched Murder Rock, first of all, because Trembling Colors recommended it, but I watched it because I had seen Aerobicide and loved it. So Murder Rock is part of this like unofficial workout slasher trilogy. So Murder Rock was awesome. I loved it. They had like great dancing, great music, and I liked how the people were killed and everything, and the methods and the reasons. And it was fantastic. And of course, I've seen Demonia. So out of those handful of movies I mentioned, my favorites so far are City of the Living Dead, Enigma, and Murder Rock. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say about Fulci right now. So let's move on to the next topic. So I discovered that one of my real life friends from college, I say real life, but I haven't seen them in many years. But I found out one of my real life friends is into giallo. So we've been talking a lot about giallo and Italian movies. He's a dude, so he wanted to know what I thought about the oversexualization of women in giallo movies. And you know, you guys have asked me that kind of stuff too. Like that's part of the reason why I did the video on the New York Ripper, since it's just so like sexually gross. Okay. And so this question, it's like an ongoing question in my mind, you know? It's always an interesting discussion, and I feel like there's always more stuff to think about and consider and whatever. So the sleaze. It took me a while to get used to the sleaze because admittedly I'm not really a sleaze media consumer. But once I did get used to it, like, it's cool, you know? Particularly when it's conveying a consensual scenario. Grape in movies, I've said this before, like, I'm really not big on grape. Like, it has to be a special situation that I'm okay with seeing that in a movie. But just, like, the general sexualization, I feel like these women that are in these movies, they are icons. Like, they're goddesses, they're revered, and we like we praise and respect these ladies, you know? Like I said about Edwige before, her presence simply demands respect. It's not, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It doesn't feel like we're objectifying her, it just feels like sheer admiration. And although I do wish there was a little more like male objectification, just to kind of keep the playing field level, I guess, to like even things out, because there's definitely not much of that. As much as I wish there was more, I think there's something really striking, and I think this is what we're getting at. I don't think it's misogyny. I think what we're getting at is female beauty is different, arguably, than male beauty. And something is so divine about female beauty that the contrast between female beauty and death or fear is really powerful. I think it's quite a statement, and you know, putting these things side by side it's wild, and it's a stark contrast, and I think that's why we do it. Okay, and this is just me spitballing, all right? So it's art. It's taking opposites. It's taking two things that aren't supposed to go together and putting them together. And honestly, when I'm seeing a giallo or a horror or whatever that has a female lead, or a scream queen, if you will, which is another interesting term that's highly debated, I see this, it is like this is a feminine giallo, this is a feminine horror movie, like this is a girl power movie, and that's, you know, some gialli have more of a masculine energy and some have more of a feminine energy, and that's, I don't know, that's just how I see it. The sleaze doesn't bother me anymore. Oh, this is the last thing I was going to say. I'm totally not doing makeup anymore. One of you guys used this term in the comments about the 70s being an anything goes era. And that is so true. And I love seeing this like liberated nature of the 70s content, but it was also like an active statement against censorship, like a cultural statement. And I really appreciate what they're trying to do there. And then this whole like anything goes liberated nature of the 70s is again a stark contrast to the environment that I live in, the deep south, where sexuality is still like really taboo and not really discussed or expressed. So it's just crazy to look 50 years back in time and see people that are more liberated than the people you know now. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because we have to do the last touch on this makeup. I feel like inevitably I'm going to get the squiggle backwards. But if you recall, the nuns have this like squiggle on their forehead. It's probably going to be backwards, but I've been thinking about it all day, how to not make it backwards. Some very simple things in life confuse me, okay? Do I look like a nun? Oh, I forgot one more thing. As you might recall, there's some like green vomit happening. So we're just gonna do a little dribble here. We'll let that dry. Gotta top it with a lighter shade of green. Okay, I mean clearly their green is way more fluorescent, but this is what I decided to do. Okay, here it is. My Demonia nun look. Hope you had fun just hanging out, talking Fulci with me. I hope everyone has a great last little bit of October. Happy Halloween. Let me know if you've seen Demonia, what you think. I know opinions vary. Or let me know what your favorite Fulci movie is. And with that, I will say goodbye. Goodbye. Ciao. Ciao, friends.